Boker Tov. I'm at the Jerusalem Gold Hotel in Yerushalayim, and it's September 2nd.
My name is Esther Lilienthal. I'm great-grandmother from the Beit Kalim, and in the last 2 weeks we've experienced something that
Okay, thank you.
You want me to start from the beginning?
Yeah, and just speak from your heart.
My name is Esther Lilienthal. I'm a great-grandmother from the Beit Kalim in Gush Katif. We were uprooted from our homes. In our immediate family, about 50 people were uprooted. 16 of my grandchildren were uprooted from their homes. My sister and her sons and their grandchildren were uprooted from their homes. Cousins' children and families were uprooted from their homes. We're scattered all over the country, from Chispin in the north to Beersheba in the south. And it's very, very difficult to carry on, kind of footless. People are anxious. They don't know where they're going, what they're going to do for a living. They're going to have to wait months before temporary housing will be available. And there are people actually living in tents in 3 different sites in the country, and we don't see very much of that in the news at all. It's all very sad and upsetting. And we're deeply disturbed mostly for our grandchildren who need to start school and haven't started. The older ones, of course, are scattered in various yeshivas, so we don't have to worry about them. But the younger ones should have started school and are not starting school because there's no place to go. And that's going to be a boomerang somewhere along the line, and we hope that God will help them and that they will be able to catch up on what they've missed, in addition to the trauma which they've experienced in being taken out of their homes forcibly by soldiers and police. It was not a happy thing to see, and of course on the news what we see is the destruction of our homes. There is very little left of Gush Katif. Yesterday the last funeral took place in the center of the city of Jerusalem. The last 14 coffins were brought from the Gush Katif cemetery, and there were many people present. They walked from the center of the city all the way to Har HaTzofim, and it was a very sad and long procession. Unfortunately, only the people who are close were there. The rest of the nation seems unmoved by the horrors that we have experienced, and we have yet to bridge the gap between us and the rest of the people. And we hope very much that that will happen, but we don't see it coming soon. I think that's enough.
Yeah, I will say a couple things. I think I've met many people. They feel something, but they don't know what can be done. And like when somebody sits shiva, they feel sympathy, but they're also busy. They have their own lives. They do feel sympathy. Somebody gave me 400 or 300 shekels that he would like to contribute. They would like to do something, but they don't know what to do. Secondly, I personally felt that it was traumatic. First of all, it's traumatic and very sad to lose a loved one the first time and to go through that levaya, but to remake people go through that
a second time
is insensitive. I don't know whether this is substantiated or not, but I'm told that the reason for the uprooting of the graves was because there was a necessity to build a road for the Palestinians.
No, that's not the reason. The reason the graves were uprooted was because it was certain that they would be desecrated if they were left behind.
Okay, all right. See, there's misinformation. We were told that there was a
that's
casino was going to be built
in that area. Certainly, that's what the plans are. There are plans for building a casino, but that's That's not why they uprooted the graves. I mean, the rabbis of Israel sat in serious discussion to decide what to do, and they said very definitely that you may not uproot graves in the land of Israel as a principle, but if there's danger to the graves, then it has to be done.
Yes, but the danger wouldn't have been created if they did not have this evacuation in the first place.
If they did not uproot the villages, 24 beautiful, flourishing villages were uprooted. Neve Kalim, the largest of them, had over 500 families, beautiful homes, flourishing gardens, wonderful Torah institutions, schools, kindergartens, nurseries. It's a sad, sad loss for all of us, the entire people of Israel everywhere.
Okay. Has any government officials been here or speaking to any group coordinator or anything about permanent situation, monetary compensation, or any way to, settle?
We haven't seen a penny yet, and we've been here for almost 2 weeks, and we have nothing in sight at the moment. Luckily, we are not in such terrible financial straits, but there are people who are, and they have to ask for loans and fill out forms and commit themselves to things that they don't want to commit themselves to in order to get that help, which is really very unfair.
It's been said that because there were 1.2 million Palestinians and only 8 to 10,000 settlers, there's justification from a military or strategic point of view to evacuate that place, whereas if there had been more Jews living there, then perhaps they would not consider it evacuation. How would you respond?
I think the first thing we have to say is that the Jewish settlements in the Gaza Strip are not Gaza. The city of Gaza is north of most of those villages and south of 3 of the villages which were beyond the security fence, and I don't know why they uprooted those at all. They were never part of the Gaza Strip and should have been left in place. But the truth is that the problem of populations existed when Israel became a state, and if Ben Gurion had taken the attitude that Arik Sharon took, Israel would never have come into existence, because there were only 500,000 Jews here when the state was declared, and many, many more times Arabs all around. And the truth is that we got along fine with our Arab neighbors until their leaders instructed them to misbehave. And many of them spoke to us and said that they are sorry to see us go, and that they would wish that we could come into their towns and shop so that their livelihood would improve. So it's a sad situation for all concerned, and certainly distorted from many different points of view.
Which is the purpose of this video, so that people could at least, the displaced residents of Gush Katif could state their message to the public without any media distortion or bias.
Well, my feeling is that the government of Israel is trying to disperse the people of Gush Katif so that the country will as quickly as possible forget about them, so that it will not influence the coming election. We're trying very hard to keep as many of the settlements of Gush Katif united and together so that they will have a future together, and God willing, it will be so.
I guess also if the residents aren't together, there's less of an opportunity to create an organized coalition of from the settlers, from the, I hate to say called settlers, the residents.
Yes.
They're called settlers, which hit, by the American media, which gives some kind of, they keep trying to portray them as these
temporary people.
Or, they're like these American pioneers. They're coming in there with the
squatters, maybe.
Or the sign with the guns and their hotheads, and all the video that you see in America is that they're, they try to portray them as a bunch of, religious zealot fanatics and so forth.
Not at all so. Not at all so. All the settlements, I shouldn't say all, about 95% of the settlements in Gush Katif were government initiated and government sponsored. And so it makes it really seem like betrayal for the government to uproot these people that they sent there as their messengers to do something very important for their country.
Well, I guess it's been said that, well, since they were a, quote, tool of the government, they did their job, that the government, just like a soldier gets sent to do something, he shoots or whatever, they did whatever he had to do, and then, take them out because they're not needed anymore in that, for that kind of strategic job of the government.
Well, I agree with the word strategic. We were there for very important strategic reasons, and we built flourishing communities, and a healthy country doesn't uproot its flourishing communities because it's had enough of them. That's not the way to build a country. And I'm looking forward to our return to Gush Katif. It's part of our ancestral homeland. The lands we were living on were the ancestral lands of the tribe of Judah. And I feel very strongly that if there is one place on this earth where Jews have a right to live, it is right there in Gush Katif.
I thank you very much, and I wish you a good Shabbos, and God willing, everything will resolve itself.
Thank you. Have good Shabbos. Okay?
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.